Feast of Prosperity is live, so let's dig in. We'll talk about that and more on this episode of the Escape Podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. Our broadcast astromech today is EPC 357.
Crazy.
And playing alongside me is Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
It's going great for me. You've had kind of a little bit difficulty this evening, but it just allowed me to watch, YouTube videos for longer. But yeah, I'm having a pretty good week. We just finished just to talk about SWTOR stuff, we just finished our ops night where we did, we decided to do group finder. So we got Taboro's Courtyard, which takes like 5 minutes. And so then we decided we would go, I think we did it again. And then we got the Queen, which also takes 10 minutes. And then after that, we decided to eschew group finder. And we picked our own darn thing to do, and we went and did heroic or hard mode or veteran Karagas Palace.
Yeah.
And that pretty much filled up our evening, so that was pretty cool. And now we all have like 100,000 conquest points.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Well, we should
fine.
talk. We'll talk about that in the news. I guess
We are going to talk about that. Yep. MFN this week we went and killed Lucky because that was the feast boss quest, and then I was actually about 15 minutes late. In that first 15 minutes, I think you killed one or two other world bosses. I was kind of piecing it together from what people were saying, and we also went to Tatooine and did some rampaging and leveling, and then we just for fun killed the world boss there also. So it was pretty cool evening as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm reading my notes and I have HKP and I'm like, who's the HKP? And I'm like, oh, it's hard mode Karagas Palace. Okay. It's bad when I can't even read my own notes. And also I did play in the Feast of Perspicacity also a little bit this week. And I have to say, I'm okay with how the world boss thing is shaping up. That because like each day it's a different world boss that you can kill for mission credit.
Yeah.
And you go on that planet, and there's people forming big groups, and it's kind of working well. I mean, I know I mentioned last time we talked about this that I wasn't looking forward to the world boss thing, but what I had forgotten was how it worked on Osis, where you would just go there as an individual person, and then someone would be starting up a group, or you could start up a group, and you know, you could have a bunch of people. You'd kill the boss. It's a fairly social thing, and these world bosses are not hard fights. So it's not like Osis droid fight where you might have to die and run back 6 times. It's just normal world boss stuff. So, yeah, I was pretty happy with that. So, yeah, and it's a bunch. I mean, it's a bunch of conquest points. This world boss thing, and the festival itself is a bunch of conquest points. So yes, this is a easy week for conquest. However, this event is its own thing. Like there's targets in conquest that match up with the event, but the event itself doesn't have its own conquest week.
Right. Right. And they clarified that in the dev tracker that because this is more of a longer term once in a while kind of event, it doesn't have a conquest a set of objectives associated with it or a conquest week associated with it, and it won't. Yeah.
Right. And I have other comments about this event, and so do you, but we're going to talk about that later. So
We sure will.
how has your week been going? Not tonight, but your whole week.
It's been going fine. We're all fine here. uh yeah, so tonight, just as if anyone's hearing the subtext of what we're talking about right now, there was a little bit of an issue getting the podcast kicked off tonight. What was supposed to happen was I was supposed to open my audio Adobe Audition, and everything was supposed to be fine after ops and start off the podcast. and Adobe decided to do something magical and just completely just destroyed my all of everything inside of Windows that had to do with my audio interface, which is a Zoom LTAC 8, which is a really nice audio interface. But it disconnected the driver from the device. It disconnected the device from the device manager, and no amount of rebooting and reinstalling the driver fix. I eventually got it working. That's why we're so late. So we're late, and now I'm
And you
frustrated.
knew you
I'm
knew before it
angry.
happened that something bad was going to
I
happen
knew
because you
as
said
well. Ah, man.
after ops, he's like, "I don't wanna do this thing that Adobe wants me to do because it's
And
gonna break
it
everything."
didn't give me a choice even. It just started
Oh.
doing it. And it said so like it started doing this thing, and it said, "Hey, it made Windows do it because it was a Windows, but anyway, it's all fine now. We're all fine. I
We'll
got
all find out.
angry. I will be penning a strongly worded letter to Adobe, but that's my secret. I'm always angry, so no big deal there. Yeah, good
We're here.
times.
We're here.
Good times in ops night tonight. We had Apollos, our friend from Montreal, was back in, longtime member of the guild, one of our officers. He's been in and out, and on a little bit of a break. Great to have Apollos back. That was really fun. And fun to be able to do the group finder. We just didn't want to do group finder and go do Dread Palace in group finder because we're doing Dread Palace vet mode when we have our whole team together. We had a couple people missing tonight, so we decided to take a break tonight. But we didn't want to go do story mode Dread Palace because we're working on vet mode, and we just need to finish the last fight to get into vet mode, and
I mean,
we will be through
you
there.
only need so much Dread Palace in your life.
Right. Exactly. So that was fun. Feast of Prosperity, we'll talk about a little bit. I got my fingers into that, and yeah, Conquest. We'll get into that too. Tons and tons of Conquest. I was afraid that it would be harder to reach the targets. It's not.
No.
Let's just say it is not. So let's talk about the news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
Bunch of things have popped up in Bugwatch. So there's plenty in the forums as far as Bugwatch. Some in fact, a bunch of things that are even more extensive descriptions of some of the bugs. So we got a lot of the usual bug watch kinds of things where they're saying, hey, we saw this in the forums. We've got our community team, our special community team manager, keeping an eye on that. We saw this. We're tracking it. This story fix, we'll fix that up for you. Then we got a couple additional, more detailed specific updates. In particular, we had the patch come out on Tuesday. We'll talk about that. But then on Wednesday, they had to put a bug fix update specifically for the patch. So that was detailed in more detail in the dev tracker. You can check that out. Then we got a description of even more updates where they had some problems with Warzone groups. You queue as a group into a war zone, and it was splitting you and putting you into two different war zones. That's not the way that's supposed to work. And there was a description in there you can read up from Eric on testing it on one server. So they tested it on the Darth Malgus server only. They wanted to see how it went there and watch that and make sure that it was working correctly, which is the right way to go about doing that. So that was really cool, and to see that process in play. It looks like that fix is going to be working. So check that out if you've been having that trouble with
I mean, I
your
think it's a
Warzone team.
bold way to do it, right? Because they did it on a live server as opposed to, like, putting it on a test server and then having
Well,
asking
true.
people to test,
I
but this way they get a lot more testing done.
I was hoping they did a little test on a test server also.
They pr Yeah. Yeah, one can hope, that's
Mm.
true. You just go right
Yep.
ahead.
So that's Bugwatch.
Um, so we also, as Max has alluded to, got game update 6.1.4 this week, and, I mean, the patch note there's a lot in this, and the patch notes go on for a long time, but the biggest thing, well, maybe not the biggest thing, but the biggest thing to me is that all around the new event, the Feast of Prosperity. So
Yeah.
there were conquest changes.
Right.
The new augments went in, which we've talked about before. That's a little controversial. Legacy ignore went in, which is welcome. Um,
Oh, is that why you haven't been responding to any of my characters anymore in game? I forgot about that. That went in.
I will say though, in this conquest update, they've been calling it several quality of life changes, and I kind of don't agree with that description of it because when they said they were bringing quality of life changes to conquest, I thought it would be something like we can sort the thing. I mean, we can already sort them, but I mean something about the interface would make it easier to find out stuff. But instead, they're just changing the points around and what things count, what things count for, and what things you can and can't do. That seems like more of like functional changes rather than quality of life. Okay, I'm splitting hairs.
No, yeah, I think you're right. I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess technically, if it's easier to hit conquest, that's increases your quality of life. But it's not what I would call a quality of life feature. I agree.
So yeah, there's changes to Squelch. Um, they've made it so that Squelch players can still talk in guild and group chat and ops chats. I think that's a good thing. I mean, because the squelching is like an automatic system. If they get a certain number of, we don't know precisely how it works because then people could abuse it. But um, if you get squelched for whatever reason, you can still interact with your guild and your party and your operations team. So I think that's probably a good thing because hopefully
Yeah,
you're not
because there's
trolling
other
your
controls.
friends.
If
Yeah,
you're in a group and you're annoying, you'll just get kicked out of the group.
yeah.
So I think that's probably fine. If you're just annoying in general chat and get muted by a bunch of players, then you get squelched and just get muted in general. But maybe you have friends that love your sense of humor and and are fine with continuing to
Or
put up with that in guild chat. Yep.
Or maybe your having gotten squelch in the first place was not correct,
Right. Yeah. Maybe.
which people think happens. I don't know if it actually happens, but people say it happens.
Right.
Um, there's also many updates to classes, class and class abilities, which you can look at in the um, notes. Nothing really that gets me. Um, basically, nothing really changed to healing bound mercs and troopers, commandos.
And if it didn't
Um,
change the healer classes, Seema doesn't care.
right, it's really not
Oh
on my
no,
radar because I
I
don't
agree.
understand it. I don't play with it day to day. Um, and yeah, so there's just a lot in here, so
Hmm.
you feel free to read through all the patch notes and check it all out. But yeah, I mean, is there anything else that you would like to point out in the 6.1.4 that we should be looking at?
No, I mean, we'll certainly talk in detail about the feast itself. Uh, the new augments. There's a bunch of discovery going on right now around what those are looking like. I've heard reports that those are in the auction house, that a couple have started to show up and like priced at what I said would be between 500 million and a billion, and that's where they're priced. So I was right. I don't know why I had to make a point of that, but they're very expensive. The conquest, as you said, the conquest changes. My fear going into this update was that it would be more difficult on a character to reach conquest, even though you would be able to because they were nerfing some of the changes and they seem to be leveling it out. And the result we're actually discovering is it's just as, I would say, as easy to reach conquest as it always has been, and much easier for the guild to reach conquest target than we had expected.
Right.
Um,
And that was the goal, right? It wasn't to make it conquest harder, it was to make they were shifting the points around to make the number of points more commensurate to the amount of effort.
right. And it just so happens, and we didn't really think through it in that, or I didn't think through it in that way. The things that we tend to do on our mandatory fun night on Tuesday, on our ops nights, the things we tend to do together are the things that should deserve more
Yeah.
conquest points. We don't all get together and take a taxi ride.
And
Instead,
hopefully
we all do an
yeah,
operation.
right. Hopefully it addresses what smaller guilds have been complaining about too, that it's hard for them to make large target because now there are things they can do that give a lot of points, like 100,000 points or 100 more than 100,000 points. So
Right. Which
I hope
seems
that's the
specifically
effect.
designed for those smaller guilds
Yeah,
to be able to hit their targets. So that's
right.
great. Yes, yes, yes. Also in the news, I wanted to pull this out. We don't typically talk about what's going on in the cartel market, but this because this is relevant to my interests. There's new Mandalorian infamous bounty hunters armor set, which is kind of cool.
Mhm.
I kind of like this,
Yep.
and even
I can
better.
see why you do because it's a little bit on the gritty side. It's not the shiny, colorful bounty hunter.
Right. I kind of like that. All of my favorite armor sets are a little scratched up, a little beat up. I work for a living, and then don't it got no shiny polished armor. It's a little dented,
Right.
scratched. I also like these weapons. This one is fine. This is the blaster pistol, which kind of matches the Mandalorian blaster. But this, I am angry that my bounty hunter can't use a rifle. So
Yeah, I know.
this is the Mandalorian, like the Mandalorian, the show. This is his rifle, and if you watch real close, watch the target over here. Disintegration. It's got a disintegration kill effect when you kill a target with it. Uh,
Can you still loot it?
can you loot the target? Oh, good
If
question. I think so. I
it's
mean, really,
disintegrated. All
that's a good point.
its crap should fall out of onto the
Yeah, it
ground.
should just be like, yeah, all the loot should just be like separate pieces laying on the ground. That would be really cool. But this is I
I
I
mean,
I need to be able to equip that on my Mandalorian, on my bounty hunter. Oh,
well,
this is just so
I
cool.
foresee I mean, I can't believe that they did this effect and they're only gonna use it this one time, because disintegrating the target is more than just like a tuning on the weapon.
Yeah, look at that. That's so cool. Yeah, so we'll see. Maybe I'll get it on a blaster pistol also. But I also really like the look of the rifle. It's got the same shape. It's got the little fork thing on the end. It's what we want. It's it's what I need. So that is really cool. So check that out. I know a couple people in the guild have already gotten that out of the cartel market, and I may end up doing that as well.
You're gonna have just level a sniper, that's all you have you're just gonna have to do it.
I guess. Well, it's a blast. It's not a sniper. Is it a sniper rifle or a blaster? I think it's a blaster rifle, which means I could use it on my Vanguard.
Oh.
That's right, Galahad.
A
No
rifle is just a rifle.
disintegrations.
A
Right.
rifle is just a rifle.
All right. So we had a little bit
So
of a
also
mix
there
up
was
in
yeah, there was
yeah.
a little bit of confusion also this week about what conquest event or event in general, because we reported because we read this and we believed that this week was going to be the Rackle week and that we were going to have the Feast of Prosperity and the Rackle week going on at the same time.
Lies.
Turned out not to be true. Turned out that there was some overlap or glitch or something in the conquest schedule. And so we're we're getting the balance of power this week and the balance of power next week. And after that, it'll be on track, whatever
Right.
that means.
Yeah, for whatever definition of on track it will be. So that's interesting.
I mean, yeah.
We were
I
looking
eh,
forward to Rackle this week actually, but
we
that's fine.
were but I did read some people that were very angry on the forums because they were really looking forward to Rackle, and I'm like, "Yeah, I was too, but in my case, and in a lot of people's case, we have already done the Rackle event 20, 30 times, so it's disappointing, but it's a mild disappointment." But
Yeah.
this guy was like, I'm sorry I came back to this game and I'm gonna quit now. And okay.
I mean, we've had Brackle event regularly for 6 years now. I mean, I
I think we can miss one and
yeah,
survive.
yeah, we'll be okay. And speaking of missing, the guild
Oh,
ships
wow.
have
That's
been
what I call
missing.
a segue.
So this fascinated me. We've seen this from time to time that
Mhm.
a guild ship has
Mhm.
gone missing. It hasn't happened to us in a while, but it used to happen. This is going back 5 years. Used to happen
And
back
when it
then,
and it was gone for a long time too, week after week
right?
when it
We had
happened
it.
to
Yeah,
us.
we had
Yeah.
gone for a month at one point. So they said that they fixed it, and then talking about bug fixes and fix updates. A couple interesting things here. We had a post from another new name face that I wasn't familiar with, Jen
Yeah.
Harkness.
Yeah.
Uh,
I love this post. It's my favorite kind of post.
that was, yeah, it's sort of fascinating. So what Jen does is she describes that there was a fix. Then she breaks down. I'm sorry, I'm assuming a gender here, Jen. But she breaks down the the what caused the problem and all of the things that led up to it being a problem and how the fix had to happen in order for it to resolve itself. And I know we joke about this from time to time about how they change something in one place and it has this butterfly effect and breaks something in some what you would think is a completely ridiculously disconnected place, but that's what was going on here. So if you read through this, what's described is character renames. There were problems with character renames and being written to the database, and that's what was causing guild ships to disappear. which,
Yes. Yes.
which is fascinating and and astounding in some ways. But again, the whole chain
Understandable.
of
Now I feel like it's understandable.
well, mostly, but I still
I
think.
mean,
I mean, I
there
understand
was
the
ways there
connection.
yeah, there were ways to avoid it.
I wouldn't think that that would all be batched up in that way, but yeah. So there you go. If you want a little bit of a peek behind the curtain of the way some of these things get put together, and there's potentially legitimate reasons for some of these things to be tied in ways that you wouldn't expect. Here's a post that describes it in detail. And the fact that it was broken down and described in detail and Jen took time to do this, I really appreciate that. So as much as
Yeah.
we might joke about it, I
Yeah, I
that
love this kind of post.
that's
Thank
that's
you.
amazing. Please do that. And we appreciate being able to joke about it. So continue to do that too. Don't take that any of that the wrong way. How about guild news? What do we got going on this week, Seema?
So, tomorrow night, or actually tonight, Friday night, is gonna be mega, and we're gonna do the Fleet Datacron, which, by the way, I have a bone to pick with OneNote. OneNote is where we store the notes for this show. It still thinks Datacron is not a word. I mean, when is it gonna learn?
What the heck? It also, I
I
see,
know.
thinks that spooky
Spooky,
is not a word.
right?
What the heck?
You should know.
These are all
Um,
words.
but yeah, so Marcus is, doing all the planning to get the Fleet Datacron thing accomplished. People are gonna come in their spookiest costumes, and there possibly will be some friendly PvP.
Yes,
I have spoken.
I have spoken.
Spookin'.
If you dress up as Queel. Quick, before it goes away, a quick look at my character here. Is this the food fight
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
thing? It
Yeah.
it's a but it looks like a bunch of leaves, sort of.
It does look it does look like much
Did
oh,
somebody like throw salad at me? Maybe they just threw some salad at me. Because all I see is leaves. I don't see like any other sort of food
yeah.
associated with it. But it looks like kind of fall and festive. Uh, Also in guild and community news, keep in mind we're still now uh, either doing a mega on a Friday night, which is what we're doing this week, or alternating between Fridays. We have every Friday something else going on with the guild. Uh, Every other Friday, we have a Master Mode Flashpoint group that's running and getting people together to go run some Master Mode Flashpoints for fun and profit and achievements and gear and that kind of thing. And then on the other Fridays, we have a group that's getting together and doing achievements. And it's some of the harder achievements to get done. Like we need to go and kill 1,000 of XYZ things on this planet. Much easier to do some of those in a group. That's what they're designing that night around, is what are those achievements that it would be nice to be able to do with a group, even if they're sort of long and boring, that we can divide and conquer. That's what that kind of group is for. Jump in our guild Discord, aie-guild.org. Discord's link is in the upper right, and it's pretty open. You don't even have to join the guild to get in on these things, and any of our guild things. You don't have to be in the guild. If you want to come on our open guild night Tuesday nights, or you want to tell some of the ops teams that, hey, I'd love to sub in, or if you want to come join any of these 2 Friday night kinds of things that we do, Starforgers is the server. We'd love to have you. And with that, no, with that, I will also say shout out to the chat room. Thank you for helping me make sure that the audio rebuild that I had to do that delayed us by 45 minutes tonight worked, and apparently it did. And I'm glad that it did. And I really appreciate all of you coming and joining, and now staying extra late with us. It is already tomorrow, and you are all still here, so I appreciate that. I just got another food fight. I just saw somebody shoot another food fight in my face. Right in my face, right there.
Is there an achievement for that?
I think they're okay. Let's get into that.
Deep in the ancient, monster-infested tomb of Marka Ragnos, there is a holocron filled with dark secrets and encased in a great stone monument.
And this particular holocron is filled with news about the Feast of Prosperity. I actually did record some of the audio, and maybe I'll pull that in next week. But I recorded audio of some of the intro from our couple of our hut sponsors here. Maybe we'll use that as drop-ins in the future. But yes, speaking of achievements, I believe there are some achievements, and I think there's an achievement associated with that food fight bomb thing. There's achievements. There's a vendor with rewards. There's a currency. There is no rep, but there's story and dailies and weeklies. This is the Feast of Prosperity event. So welcome everyone. This is going to be with us, I imagine, on a recurring basis. What do you think? I didn't catch them saying how often this might return. My expectation is either that it'll be on a rotating schedule like the other events, or maybe it's a once a year thing, like the sort of the Thanksgiving time frame, in the same way that the Winter Fest Life Day stuff is once a year. Did you get a clue
Well, I
on
mean,
that? What's your expectation?
that was I originally thought it was going to be yearly, but since they decided to do 3 weeks instead of longer, now I'm wondering if maybe they might be thinking they could do it twice a year.
Yeah. It's
I
not.
I don't know how that would work out because, yeah, so like right now it's happening between Nightlife and Life Day. And so like maybe the next one will be somewhere between Life Day and the next Nightlife.
Maybe.
And then it would maybe, yeah. I don't have any like
I think it could. There doesn't seem to be a story element that would tie it to a particular part of the year like Life Day. Instead, this is an event that is sort of spun up and sponsored by these 2 hut that we're looking at here. And I think there is potentially an opportunity for them to run it, run it as often as they want. So story-wise, it could happen. We'll have to see. Regardless, there is, so I guess let's get into it a little bit. You've done some, I've done some. We looked at it a little bit on the PTS. It's now here in living in life for as real as our digital lives get. The story elements are talking to the 2 huts and doing some of the things that they want you to do. And then there's the doing of the dailies and weeklies to get the currency. So what have you done so far, Seema? And what are your initial thoughts? And then we can break it down in some of the details.
Well, I did the introductory story and I did the kitchen, the first kitchen thing, the on easy mode, delivering food to tables. I went to Corellia and against my bed Nexu tongues. I killed
You said you
uh
and on that one for that daily when you did the next two tongues, you said you were afraid that it was going to be hard to do. What did you find there?
no, what I meant was I didn't want to farm Nexu tongues.
Ah, because it's gross.
Yeah, yes, because it's gross and because Nexus are
Smiley.
yes, they're like pets.
They are
I
kind
mean,
of
I
nice.
I don't yeah.
But these ones were
Anyway,
trying to kill you, so
well, they weren't until I went and tried to anyway, whatever. It's if I examine it too much, it doesn't really hold up, so um, so I did that, and while I was on Corellia, I joined a group and killed Lucky. Even though we had killed Lucky, um, during MFN, I still I mean, I did it because I would get credit for the quest, the mission to kill Lucky and get his liver, also gross, um,
but
his giant
delicious.
liver, possibly, um, and at that point, I made conquest on this character.
Right.
So, that was a lot of conquest points. So, I came back and I thought the introductory story part was the story part for the week, but then I've since found out that when you come back, you can pick up another glob of story for this week, which I have not done that part yet.
And I did. And apparently, what I'm seeing is that the story will continue.
Yeah.
We get the first week of the story this week, and because this event is going for 3 weeks, the story will continue. So
I mean I mean, to be clear, I got conquest credit for the thing that's called Feast of Prosperity story.
right, okay,
So, I thought
you did
that was
enough
the
of it to
story.
trigger that at least.
Well, just doing the intro part, the intro quest did that gets you the conquesting for that. So, I mean, I guess you could go the next day and get this credit again for that on a different character. I mean, I did come with a different character and do the very beginning part again because I wanted to see because I didn't happen to notice on my first character if the Nexu tongues were, you know, if they were bound to you. Because what I was thinking is it would be kind of a cool little sub market if you could buy them on the GTN. These
Hmm.
these these things that you're collecting for these quests, that would be a nice little market for people who wanted to go out and farm some stuff and for people who didn't want to go out and farm the stuff. But
Yeah,
alas, they're quest items, so they go in that special tab of your inventory, so they're not sellable.
they they were really fast to get when I
They
got
were
them too.
super fast. Yeah,
So
they were super fast to get. It was like a one for one dropping rate.
I also went to kill Lucky and did that. And each day it looks like it's a different world boss that it has you go
Yeah.
after, which I appreciate.
Yeah, because yesterday it was, the
Primal
Primeval
Destroyer.
what's Primal Destroyer, right, on Belsavis.
And then I also noticed in previous times it might have been difficult to find Lucky, and the respawn rate it might have. I mean, sometimes you got to be up all night to get Lucky.
Oh my
But anyway, the respawn rate on Lucky right now, at least, is really, really fast. I didn't go after the Primal Destroyer yesterday. I don't know anyone in the chat room if you can comment, but the respawn rate when we killed Lucky last night, Lucky was back, and I don't remember the respawn rate being that fast. Lucky was back by the time that we were sort of like all wrapped up and leaving the area. That is, I hope, on any of these world bosses where we need to go and kill the world boss for an event like this. I really like the idea of that really fast respawn rate. I don't see why we shouldn't have that in the same way that those o- Osis, Odessen, Onderon bosses,
Osis.
those Osis,
Yeah.
Osis bosses, they have a really fast respawn rate as well. So that, I think, is the way that should be.
And the quest, the Nexu, even though there's only a few pulls of them in that area, they were responding so fast. It was like no problem to get those quest items. The
Great.
the tongues.
So let's break it down. And there's a few guides out there. There's a few videos out there. Content creators. Volk has done a pretty nice one. You can look this one up, and breaks it down. But as we said, and you can see in Volk's guide, if you haven't gotten to the event, what some of the event details are and why you might do it. One thing that I thought was interesting that we were talking about earlier is there's no reputation associated with the event.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised. Why do you think they
But that
didn't do it?
because it's like Life Day. Life Day doesn't have any faction associated with it. It's just the currency.
True. So maybe it's just a day and an event, and you just participate or you don't participate.
Or maybe since we're just coming off of the swoop race, which has 3 factions
Yeah.
associated with it, maybe it was, they didn't want people to have rep overload, but rep grinding overload. But I do feel like it's kind of a relief not to have a rep grind associated with it.
Yeah. Yeah. What is associated with though are dailies, weeklies to get the currency, and the currency to go to a vendor and buy some rewards, and then achievements.
This is why we were talking about earlier during ops. Is like I wish that we had room for more than 25 missions at this point, because these events like this one and the swoop racing event and the Dantooine event, the pirate incursion, you just want to put so many missions in your log at the time that are just from the event. Plus I have missions in my log that are the type that take months to finish, like the Aerotech missions and the macro binoculars one that I haven't done the last three or four parts of yet. And
Yeah.
and I don't want to delete like Alderaan heroic missions when I have 2 of 3. I don't even want to delete it when I have 1 of 3.
Right. No, I'm the same way, and I don't want to delete those. And with these, and like blatant Becks, one of 3 races, you could end up with just at whatever rate you're doing this, you could end up with each event leaving around 5, 7
Yeah.
additional uncompleted missions that you don't want to remove and don't want to delete. So I completely agree. They should do something about that so that we can just
Or
expand the quest log.
if they're nervous about that, they could make sort of like a special mission log that's just for event
Yeah.
missions. So that if they're worried about like mission log bloat or it's never going to be enough, so we're not going to give you any more because we know what you'll do. You just fill it up anyway, which I think that's a valid point. But yeah, if they could make it separate.
The key dev reason I've heard for mission log constraints in a couple MMOs has been that whatever missions are in that mission log, they need to do a query across those so that they can be looking for in the world anything that's associated with those missions. If that list is much too big, there's potentially a performance hit. But I think your point was quite brilliant, which was an event specific mission log, and then they can just not look if the event's not on, don't look for those events, and there's no performance hit. So let's talk about about some of the rewards, because I see one of them right here that I think we can call out.
Adorable.
The Hairless Mudhorn.
It's very cute.
The Mudhorn is another the Mandalorian specific creature that has a very relatively significant part of that series. It was kind of fun to see the hairless baby Mudhorn as a pet that you can get. Where's the vendor? Here's the vendor.
Yeah.
Feast of Prosperity token vendor. So there's 2 pets on here. The Mudhorn, the baby Mudhorn is one, and the Thurb, the Earthen Thurb is another one. I prefer the Mudhorn significantly to the Thurb. One of the things that we called out when we were discussing the Mudhorn in particular on our fun night and our ops night tonight was, so little bit of spoiler here for Mandalorian. There's a scene where a Mudhorn egg is involved, and Jawas eat it. It's
Yeah.
very early in the series, but I guess if they hadn't ate that egg and hatched it, this is the little baby Mudhorn that would have come out of it. That seemed quite interesting to me. But that was a very hilarious scene with the Jawas in The Mandalorian. Suga, Suga. That's what they say when they want him to go get them the egg so that they can just crack it open and chow down. And that was their big quest for him. There's an armor set on here. Have you? Oh, there's a bunch of decos. I didn't look through all the decos just yet. Wow, there's
Some
quite
of
a
them are.
bit on here.
Did you know, Max, that you can preview emotes?
I did not, now that you mention it.
Like if you look at that vendor and look at the emotes on there, you can actually see your character doing that emote, which I think is awesome.
What is this one? This is Emote Feel the Groove.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Oh, yeah, boy, that's, I'm kind of getting getting down there. Emote overeat. Oh, better bring me a bucket.
It's a wafer thin.
It's waffle thin, monsieur. This is what I saw SWTOR really wanting, is the chef hat. She was dying to get this. That looks disturbing on my Sork. So that's
I think it
interesting.
looks fairly disturbing on everyone that I've seen it on. I've only seen it on a few people, but
Well,
it's
it's got those
look
weird
at your
sideburn
yeah,
things,
and yeah, look at your ears poking out the side.
and it's, you got a like a vent thing on the back. This is, yeah, this is a little bit of weird version of a chef hat. Oh, so there's a Feast of Prosperity food launcher. As you kick off and do the first part of talking to the two huts, we'll talk about the story in just a second too, but you get an item that as a reward, which is a Feast of Prosperity food item, and I think, yeah, it's a single use. So you get the single
Food
use food launcher, where you
food
can
checker.
do the little food fight emote, throw it at somebody, and then it's sort of, that's where the salad sort of sticks to them for a little bit. And apparently, if you save up your coins to 7,500, you can get a reusable one. Nice. Quite a few additional other toys and emotes and pets. Wait, here's another pet. No, decorations. So this is a decoration. Titles. So there are a lot more here than I had actually realized. Oh, there's a little Ugnaught. A little Ugnaught that you can get for your stronghold as a decoration, and he sort of wanders around. To get these coins, you need to be doing, oh, and then I think one of the most interesting things that we were talking about earlier as well is a couple tacticals. So these tacticals are specific to the event. At least one of them is this. So this one, improved axle grease, equip, increases rewards earned from the Feast of Prosperity Cantina Dash. The Cantina Dash is the daily where you you control an astromech and deliver food to the different tables. This increasing your speed and increasing the rewards earned from the Feast of Prosperity is interesting. It doesn't increase your speed. That's what our ops team wanted it to do, because that's challenging when you try to do that in the difficult mode. Enhanced seasoning for new cooks. What does this one do? Increases rewards earned from the Feast of Prosperity cooking challenge. Okay, another good one. So those are the two tacticals. This again reminds me of my suggestion for there to be a cosmetic tactical slot, because you would never keep this on. This isn't a battle tactical. I think in the same way that we got a couple of those cool tacticals for the Blatant Becks that affect how your speeder operates. I would love just a tactical slot that where we could put some cosmetic tactical in and just leave it there and not have to always be swapping it out to get our battle tactical in. So make it happen.
I mean, I don't know if these tacticals are worth the cost.
I don't know if they are either. If you are going to be farming I guess it would depend on how much of an increase in rewards there are, because they're relatively
Mm-hmm.
expensive. You have to spend 2,200 coins, 2,200 tokens to get the tactical. If they doubled the rewards from then on, then maybe it would be worth it.
Right. If you were going to get that many tokens already. I mean, if you knew you were going to get that many tokens, for sure.
Like if you wanted to get the 7,500 food launcher and you wanted the mount,
Yeah, it
uh,
could definitely add up, but we don't know, do we?
we do not know. It's a mystery. And then there's this armor set, which we couldn't figure out either.
I mean, I pretty much will probably want to buy all the decos for sure. And the armor set I'm on the fence about because I like the texture of it and the shape, the silhouette, except I don't get the attachments on the back. I need to put that I need to get that understanding in place before I can decide whether I want that or not.
Yeah, the rack of wind chimes or whatever tin cans hanging off your back. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's supposed to be like representing the theme of the Feast of Prosperity.
I mean, I think it's representing something. I just want to know what. We'll find out. I
Right.
mean, there's probably people who already know. I just don't know. Or maybe it'll come out in the story.
Maybe. Maybe it
We'll
will.
find out. We will find out. I feel sure.
So let's talk about the story. You kick it off. In fact, I just realized this when I came here to Nar Shaddaa directly. You do need to go to talk to the crier on the fleet first before you can come here and then talk to Gaburga, who's the first hut that you talk to, and what's the other guy's name? Duba. Gaburga and Duba. And this is where the story starts. Gaborga and Duba are the two huts that are running the show. They've invented this Feast of Prosperity, ostensibly to give back to the community and those less fortunate, so that they can have some food and enjoy and partake in the feast and the abundance that is provided.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So why do you say that, Seema, in that way?
Okay, so when you go and talk to Gaborga, first of all, he says highly specific things about his work, like, I have to do a lot of charity. I do charity. Okay. Oh, by the way, do you want to donate? Because like I like it when people donate, especially rich people. I want rich people to donate. Lots and lots. But I'm giving. I'm giving, but only if you donate.
Yeah,
That's Gaborga.
that's
And
Gaborga.
then Duba is sort of like, oh, that Gaborga, he's I'm not sure he's on the up and up, but I am. And I also do charity and would like your donations. And plus I have jobs for you. So I'm in like both of them to me are like not
So
what I would yeah.
yeah, I see, let's see how it develops. Okay, and here's a little bit of spoilerish that you can skip ahead a little bit if people have if want to just see the story develop. And this is only week one. We're gonna find out more. If you read into the next set of conversations with Duba, to me, is much more open, straightforward, and honest, and is saying, yeah, the Huts do have a problem with this, and they do try to scam people all the time. And I'm really trying to keep an eye on Gaborga and make sure all this is on the up and up. And the other thing Duba will end up pushing you on is, no, no, no. I don't like this thing about the donations and these high rollers that Gaborga is going after. In fact, I'm more interested in service. And if you want to help, in fact, I don't want your donations. If you want to help, then help. And
Okay, but he says a lot of that in the initial thing. He says, at that donation, and Gaborg, yes, you're right. Gaborga is a little bit more into the donations than I am. It's kind of embarrassing, blah, blah, blah. So to me, they're sort of like doing a,
good cop, bad cop.
uh, yeah, sort of like good hut, bad hut kind of a thing where now I'm supposed to believe Duba because he's willing to throw Gaborga under the bus.
Seema is quite skeptical. She is.
I am.
So we shall have to see how it develops. I'm bought in. I'm on team Duba, and
Well,
I
I mean, don't mistake. I mean, I'm on Team Duba on his plate.
you cut out there for a second. You're on team Duba, you said, but what?
Yes, because he said he has a lot on his plate.
Because it's a feast, and there's
Yeah,
plates. Get
yeah,
it?
there's plates everywhere. Yep.
I agree that is enough to sell us on his skill with puns. I believe him. I believe he's on the up and up, and he's one of the rare breed of good huts, like our friend
Ogrub.
Ogrub. Ogrub. Hey, Ogrub, not eligible for
No,
this
I don't
emoji.
think
Why did I
Ogrub
not?
is particularly good. I think
Aha.
what Ogrub wants lines up nicely with what we want.
Right, but he's not as uh, nefarious as most huts are.
I
He's
guess we don't know that, do we? Because right now he's doing what he wants to do, and it works for us.
but yeah, I mean he's like into science and discovery, and he's just trying to, to
Yeah, that's what he's
do
into,
science. But
and
he's
that's
not like doing bad science. He's not like
not right now.
he's not like enslaving people and using their parts for his experiments. He's all on the up and up. But yeah, okay. So Seema is not a fan of huts apparently. No hut
Uh,
has Seema's trust at this point. So
I don't know if it's a hut thing so much as it's just a thing. I am skeptical. But like with Ogrub, I'm just saying if he was captured by a scientific idea that we didn't want him to do, I don't think he would not do it necessarily because he just hasn't demonstrated that. I don't know him.
yes, but I don't
The
think
things
he
he's
would
working
like.
on that are interesting to him are also things of benefit to us.
I
So
don't.
we're walking
Yeah,
down the same path right now.
but I
It
don't think
hasn't
he's
been
like
tested.
a science crime lord. So
I'm
as
just saying it hasn't been tested yet.
okay,
He hasn't
okay.
had to make a decision where he said, "Okay, I'll choose good over evil." He's always just gone his way and it's worked out.
So
So far as yeah.
if you want to get on Seema's good side, you got to work for it. This is what we're learning here, folks. You get to just.
Like you didn't know that already.
I'm still trying. I'm still trying. Is it 8 or 9 years now?
Not
Still trying to
trying
work on it.
not trying very hard.
Not trying very hard. Uh, so one of the things that happens after you talk to these guys and get things kicked off is you can go back to Gaburga and he will send you on a couple tasks to forward the cause. He's trying to bring the feast to more planets. The one planet that they send you to this week, and it may change next week, there might be another part to it, but you get sent to Rishi. And there's 2 people you got to talk to on Rishi. Here's a pro tip I heard, because when things are really busy and you have to go and be clicking things that have a long cooldown, it gets difficult. But the first guy you can do two. You have 2 choices of what you can do for the first guy. So this is Jack Burrs. It's this guy. You have 2 choices of things you can do. Either one is pretty fine. You don't have to worry about that too much. It's you battle a couple pirates, or you go to the cantina and snag a bottle of rare vintage off their shelf. I went to the cantina, of course, because why wouldn't you go to a cantina if you have a chance? And that's also one I think that you could do no matter how busy things are, because there's a bunch of the bottles there, and it's just easy to go. If the if the pirates that you need to go fight are being farmed and aren't around, then going and getting that bottle might be quicker. I heard though, as of today, that there's plenty of the pirates and it's not hard. The other one, the next one, you go talk to this next character, Omitopi. It's a Rhodian, Navoli, and she wants you to. She's got a problem. She needs your help to fix some of machinery that she's got broken. I think she needs to go inspect some pipes. And what I heard was earlier in the week, and again, maybe they have fixed it, or maybe they still need to fix it. You would click on one of the items, one of the things you're inspecting, and there would be a long cooldown time before it would come back. And as of Tuesday night, there was a bunch of people standing in line to line up and wait for the cooldown so that they could click the thing and they could advance the quest. You do have an option with Navoli, the Rhodian, to threaten her and say, I don't got time for your business, and you just need to get this feast thing going on. If you threaten her enough, you don't have to do her little mission, and you can just go back and be done. So the pro tip was to get it done quick is steal the wine, threaten the girl, and Bob's your uncle.
Words to live by.
Steal the wine, threaten the girl.
I mean, that's always going to be quicker than not stealing something and not threatening, I guess. I don't know.
And then there's one other part where you need to go to, and this you also have a choice. Gaburga wants you to get a rare Orobird spleen. That's what it was. That's what I was trying to think of. Spleen. You go talk to one of these weasel people. I don't know what race that is, but it's some sort of weasel looking. In fact, you can get one as a companion, I'm pretty sure, off of Odessan after you complete all the Star Fortresses. I think you assist one of them and you can have one as a companion. But this weasel person wants you to not kill the oral birds because they're rare and endangered. So she tries to convince you to not do it. She gives you some alternatives. You can play this out apparently however you want. You can kill the birds. You can not kill the birds. You can kill her alternative, or you can do nothing and just go back to Gaborga and he'll just shake it off. One interesting thing that I found from her, she ends up saying at some point that she's a vegetarian, and I don't know how this weasel creature doesn't seem very vegetarian to me, but apparently she's a vegetarian. So there you go. But then you go back to Gaburga, and that sort of wraps up the story for this week. And then next week, we're going to get to see what comes next and how this develops and what is going on. And what we might end up needing to either side with one of these huts or see what their nefarious plans really are, or see if it is good cop, bad cop, but they're both scamming us. We will find out.
Solonian.
What's that? Oh,
It's a Solonian. Yeah,
Solonian.
because you run into him on Corellia.
Hmm.
So that's why I had to Google it because it was bugging me. But yes,
So
Solonian.
not Weasel Girl. It's
that works too.
a Weaselonian. Yes. So Weaselonian, next playable race confirmed. And then the only other thing we didn't talk about was the two dailies at the feast on Nar Shaddaa. One where you control the astromech and deliver food to the tables, and there's a easy mode and a hard mode version of that, and one where you assist the chef in the back room. There's an easy mode and a hard mode version of that as well. Did you do those? Did you do the easy mode or the hard mode versions?
I did the easy mode.
Yeah. I did both the easy mode and the hard mode of the chef version on the PTS. I did both the easy modes so far this week of both of them on the release. delivering food to the table seems pretty straightforward to me. There is a little bit of a timer countdown, pick the right foods. You can have up to 4 things on your tray. So grab a couple of them. A little side tip, the more you fill up your tray of your little astromech when you're delivering the food, the slower you go. So if there's only 2 things you need to go deliver, don't grab an extra two other things, because there's 5 possible options, and you might think, I started by saying, well, I'll just grab one of each. I'll just have them then. So when they
Mhm.
pop up, I'll be able to go deliver them. You slow down for 1 or for 2, there's no guarantee that you're going to use
Right.
those. In fact, I
You might
grabbed like a red dish and I delivered to like 10 tables and never got a red one. If you get frustrated with something that's on your tray that you want to get rid of, there is like a trash bin at the end of the serving
Oh,
counter
I missed that.
where you could dump it off. So you could do that if you needed to.
Yeah, when I was running around doing that, I was like going lobster, tomato, sweet potatoes, salmon. That's what the pictures look like to me.
I was
Lobster.
going red, blue, yellow, purple.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Put lobster,
Yeah.
potato. Now I'm gonna have to look at
And
them.
and they they were also like a geometric shape too, weren't they? Like the
Yes,
purple was a yeah, fine.
triangle,
Yeah.
star
Yeah.
shape, square.
So whatever works.
So hopefully that works for, and we've got a couple people in guild that are colorblind to varying degrees. So hopefully that both having the shapes and the pictures help, and you don't have to deal with the colors in that case. But you pick up the various foods, and then the buttons on your bar to deliver them light up, F1, F2, F3, F4, F5. You go to the table to drop it off. Each of the tables has a little bit of a countdown timer going on as well. So you'll want to deliver them in order, and you want to deliver before the table expires. And it's relatively straightforward on easy mode. On hard mode, you're definitely going to need to watch what's on your tray, deliver in order, and hustle. And apparently, it's quite a bit that you need to deliver in hard mode. The other one, the one where you're helping the chef in the kitchen. In fact, I can probably go in here while we're wrapping up here and talking about it. I got to talk to Gaburga first. I'll just space bar through here. In that one, on the easy mode, only the ingredient that you need to be dealing with lights up, which is nice. It says go
Yeah.
go chop the root, and then the root that you need to chop lights up, and you go do it. Go turn on the heat, and only that thing lights up, and so that's easy to figure out. In the hard mode, they're all lit up, and there's a lot of things to worry about going on in there. In fact, I looked at the list here. I think it's even on Volk's site here. I looked at the list, and I didn't realize there's different things that you can be asked to cook. And then when they're all lit up, you realize how many discrete ingredients and cooking implements there are to deal with. It's kind of crazy. Here it is.
So
17.
the tokens are account wide. The currency is account wide. So I feel like even though I said I probably want all the decos, so that means a lot of tokens. I feel like I can get more tokens by doing the easy mode stuff on multiple characters than doing,
Yeah,
trying and failing at the hard mode. So just to get the extra attempt, the extra tokens for doing it again.
exactly. In fact, a couple people have been it seems like trying to work that out. Should you
Oh,
is it
okay.
worth it to do the hard mode one? Medulla, for example, earlier said for the kitchen thing, it's not worth the rewards to do the hard mode one. Just switch over to a different character and do the easy mode one again.
Oh,
So there might be like a time versus reward calculation that we'll sort of be able to work out. If you get
is
really
there
good at it,
there's probably an achievement for doing the hard mode one though, so
probably an achievement. Yes, that's what I was.
so I'll probably want it then, but yeah, we'll
Right.
see.
So I will duck into the kitchen here and help out as the last thing. And then here you can see as you pick up from these terminals, you're ending up with a ton of missions. And I didn't even
Yeah.
pick up the hard mode versions. And then here's 5 weeklies.
Yeah,
There. And now my mission
I
log is
mean,
full and I can't even pick them all up.
in my first character through here, I picked up a couple missions and went and did them, and then I found the weekly ones. And I'm like, Seema, why are you surprised? Don't you learn?
And
So
and look, here I'm halfway done with the Theoretica. Well, I guess I could just oh man. Well, I mean, what
know.
can I get rid of? Out of my Shroud of Memory, I'm not going to get rid of that. Here, weekly veteran
I know.
flashpoints, 1 of 5. Fine, I'll abandon that one. Aerotech Coral, not going to get rid of that. What am I at? 1 of 3 on Gargath? Okay, fine, I can get rid of that.
Yeah. I
Spoils of
wish you didn't
War,
have to
return to
make
the
those
PvP mission terminal. Oh. And here, Blatant Bex. I've got Blatant Bex, 1 of 3. Swoop Rally Champion, 2 of 6. Dantooine Patrol, 3 of 6.
I mean, if BC were here, he would say, well, the simple solution is you just complete those missions when the events are up.
that would be good, but I did not. So
And to BC, I say, have you met me?
I do what I want. I do whatever I want.
Well, what I mean, I switch characters because I hit Conquest.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, that's
I know.
that's you're right. That's now I'm even realizing why what well, I'd probably get bored too and just stop. So here's
Yeah.
my tough psych belly. You click the thing that's lit up. It's quite easy. And then you get the action button. I heard it's if you stand too close to the pot that it's difficult to get it in the pot. So stand back. You really need to bam, you need to throw from across the room because that's what a pro chef apparently does. I like these little cooking mini games in MMOs. So here, I'll finish this one while we're wrapping up. So what's your evaluation of the event overall then, Zima?
Well, I mean, like I said, I started on it, but I haven't really gotten into it. Like I did the same thing with the soup races. Like I started them, and it took me a little bit to get into them, and then I really got into them. I don't know that this has the same potential for that. We'll see.
I like
Because these kind of games are not as
repeatable.
there's something there's something about the swoop race that yeah, I don't know. I guess repeatable, but I can't really describe what it is. And like the cooking thing, it's you're reading a direction and it's like it's almost more like a hidden option type of game, but with a speed.
Yeah,
So like I'm looking around the room trying to find what's lit up, as opposed to, racing through the world trying to find what's lit up.
right. And I mean, the racing is sort of exciting
But
in and of itself. So
and
that's a little bit different.
and then the racing, as I got better at it, understood more how it worked, and was able to make tweaks that made it everything faster and better. I liked it better, so maybe that'll happen with this too.
Yeah. I like that they added another event, and I hope
I like that.
they'll do
And
more.
I like the rewards.
I like the rewards. I like that there's a story, and I think
So
all
that
of
might
that
make it
sort of
worth
put
it
together.
too.
I don't think.
Oh, I think the story is way more interesting than the story for Swoop Race. If I'm comparing the two. Like
Yeah,
the story for the Swoop Race was
there's swoop races. go
well,
go race.
go go to this place that's incredibly tedious to get to, and then listen to somebody else talk, and then come
Mhm.
back. Where
Whereas
this
here
seemed,
there is a mystery that apparently would potentially discover. Where is this going?
yeah, where is this going?
So yeah, but that's what it is, and we'll see the next 2 weeks. We'll see how it turns out, and we'll see what we get done in the next 2 weeks, and we'll see when it comes back. It's got more depth than Life Day, although they've added a little bit to Life Day over the years. It's got maybe less action than swoop racing, but
I
I
like
think
it
it's
better
good.
than hugging Wookiees 1,000 times
Yeah.
and throwing thousands of snowballs. And I like those 2 things.
Yeah.
So, that's
Right.
good.
All right. I think with that, we can wrap up for this week. Get our EPC 357 droid ready to broadcast this podcast to all of you. So, everyone, please, as usual, if you want to find out what is broken in my podcast setup next week, keep up with me on Twitter at Max the Gray, and you'll get a notification of what's going on there. And if you know anybody that should be playing with us and you want to find Seema or me and hear about playing with our guild, aie-guild.org is our guild website. And then the upper right of the guild website, there's a link to our guild Discord. We are on the Starforge server. We run open guild nights on Tuesday nights and fun stuff on Friday nights. We have about 5 or 6 op teams running now. We always need subs. A lot of fun stuff going on. We would love to have you. And with that, we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.